Hey, what's good, Titans fans? We're back again with another reaction. We have one. We've been catching a lot of slack here lately before our criticisms on Will Levis. How the Titan season has been going so far on the podcast. We've been taking a lot of criticism. Um, a lot of people just saying our takes are just Will Levis Levis hate. I guess they haven't been paying attention, seeing what we've been talking about all off season with Will Levis. I guess they don't pay attention to the intro we have on the podcast that's all has Will Levis on it, and we've been trying to hype him and believe in him. But apparently, us criticizing him when he does dumb stuff and makes bad plays is just pure Will Levis hate. It's remarkable. But here's a video. We're gonna react and look at this. It's by the J&D production. They got it titled "Will Levis Sucks." Uh, which I'm not fully out on Levis, but these first 4 weeks of this season has definitely been a regression from last season, and that's not something we wanted to see. We always blame Vrabel, said Vrabel couldn't do this, and we needed a QB guru guy. Now we got one, and Will Levis is worse than he was last year without the QB guru guy, with the defensive-minded guy. So is it a learning curve for the offense, or is Will Levis just not cut out for this? Because he didn't perform well in college. So what makes us think that he's going to perform well in the NFL? It's just a bunch of hopes and dreams right now at this point for Will Levis. For a lot of people, it's like, well, he could be it. He might be. Everybody could be it. That's why you draft and get players on your team. We're 4 weeks in. This dude's not looking like it, and it's not looking any better. Turnovers, and he can't protect himself. That's two of the most important things you need from your QB. Don't turn the ball over, don't lose the games, and don't put yourself in jeopardy and harm's way. He does both of these consistently week in and week out. So, but before I get on all that, let's just start the video, respond, react, and let's see what they got to say, because y'all hasn't heard enough from me. Y'all done got pissed off at me on Twitter or on X all week.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the funniest possible outcome to start the seasons for the Titans was to not only start 0-3, but to do so at the hands of Malik.
Hold on. First off, it ain't funny at all. It ain't. It's sad. It's sickening. It's depressing. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's a lot of things. It's not funny. I mean, maybe it's funny to y'all outside the Titans organization, but us as Titans fans, this shit's fucking pathetic.
Willis, and that is exactly what happened. And Will Levis continues to just have horrendous highlights each week, and they are getting harder and harder to watch. Now,
he's a fucking meme machine. That's what the fuck he is right now. It's levistating out here watching this motherfucker do this shit and being as a Titans fans after hyping him up all season. This was gonna be. He gonna be one of the best QBs in AFC South. Trevor Lawrence ain't got nothing on him. Anthony Richardson ain't got nothing on him. CJ Stroud's the only person that's gonna be competing. It's gonna be Will Levis and CJ Stroud in the AFC South. No, the fuck it ain't. It's been fucking ass. We put all this hype into you, and you came out and you did this shit.
Now, I did not have a lot of faith in the Titans coming into the season. A lot of Titans fans disagreed, but I just didn't think that this was a very good team. I don't believe in Will Levis, no matter how much I do want to. I do really like Brian Callahan, but
I will say this is a good team. Together, talent-wise, put together, orchestrated, this is a good team. This is a good team. They're not playing well. Good. They're not playing together well at all. Now that's a fact. They're not playing well together. But a lot of it is from the QB play, whether it's Will Levis in or Mason Rudolph in. It ain't just Will Levis in. Now, Mason Rudolph got us a win. He protected the ball, but he didn't throw over 100 yards. He didn't do none of that stuff. He did what we needed to win. He survived the game. But for us to be a better football team and to be a good football team on the field week in and week out, we got to have better QB play. Better QB play consistently as well as on that. So whether it's Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, Shedeur Sanders in the draft, or Cam Ward, whoever it fucking may be, we need better QB play. We haven't had it, and we have to have it. This team, this roster, this talent is way better than what we put out on a record. And it's not all at the QB's fault, and it's not all at Will Levis' fault, but it's a huge production it's a huge reason because of the lack of production we've been getting at the QB position, whether it's Will Levis or Mason Rudolph. We aren't performing. We're not a good team simply because of our piss poor QB play. Could O-line be better? Yes. Could the defense do better in some situations? Yes. Could the wide receivers get more separation? Yes. But if all those things happen, O-line passed better, defense got better, wide receivers got separation, we're still having issues at QB where reads are getting missed, balls are thrown into double coverage, balls getting turned over, not read, mispress. So there's a lot of things. Will Levis and the QB play is not just the only issue, but it's a big chunk of the pie.
But unfortunately, it is year one for him. I think he's the right guy to get the Titans right, but it might take some time. And honestly, I think it's going to take a different quarterback to do that. Levis just doesn't look like the guy. It's been a bad start to the season, and losing to Malik Willis really does feel like rock bottom. Now, remember, the Titans drafted Malik Willis in the 3rd round back in 2022, and he was even considered a first-round pick at times. He started 2 games in Tennessee, and he never threw a touchdown while he was a Titan. It seemed pretty obvious he wasn't the long-term option, and they ended up trading him away to the Packers.
Now, I'll say this, though, okay? Because a lot of fans, Titans fans, like, we shouldn't trade Malik. See, look, we don't develop here. That's something we got to get better at. We got to stop having players here for years, don't develop them, they don't improve, they don't get better, then they go to another team, they improve, develop, and get better. We're like, see, if we would just held on to them, they would have. No, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. We could have held on to Malik. He still wouldn't have been developed here. It wouldn't have happened. Like, maybe under Callahan, he would have maybe got better, but we don't know. It's Callahan's first year. He's trying all this stuff. So exclude all that with Callahan. He could have, but we don't know. His first time head coach, first time offensive play caller, first time doing a lot of this stuff. Just because he did it as an OC and QB coaches at other places doesn't mean he's automatically that guy. So stop with the narrative that we shouldn't have traded Malik. He could have been here, and then he could have developed into this here too. No, we don't develop players. That's our biggest issue. We don't develop players. We need better coaching staff. We need better facilities so we can coach and develop these players. So hopefully the new stadium's going to come give us better facilities. Hopefully Brian Callahan is a new coach moving forward for us that can help us develop players. But this is year one. You can't really criticize him like, oh, he's not developing. It's still a learn. It's like you're still new in your first year. You're still trying to learn Will Levis. You're still trying to learn how to call offensive plays. Still trying to learn how to coach a team as a head coach. Like, there's still a lot of variables for you. But we got to learn to develop players. Too many times we do let players go, and we see them go flourish at other places and develop. Develop here. We got to develop here, but we got to stop with this narrative that we trade people away, then they go to another team, they start getting better. And they're like, see, we could have if we would have kept them, they would have got good here. No, it's not. No. Give the credits to the coaches that got these players and developed them up. Give credit to Matt LaFleur here. This wasn't Tennessee traded a guy and gave up on a guy. We did, but Matt LaFleur had the tools and the equipment to set this guy up for success. Rand and Brian said that early on. We traded him with Green Bay because we thought it was the best opportunity for Malik. And it was. And it is. We just got to do better at developing. We just got to stop acting like every time a player leaves and they do better at another team. See, they could have done that here. No. Until we get better coaches to actually prove that they can develop, and maybe Brian is it. Maybe he is. His first year. That's why I'm not saying Brian is it. We got to see more with him. So I'm talking about before Brian Callahan. But we got to see this franchise actually develop somebody. Develop.
For a 7th round pick. Jordan Love got hurt, and suddenly Willis was the starter instead of Sean Clifford. So the trade obviously was a good call for the Packers. Willis ended up throwing his first career touchdown pass and helped the Packers beat the Colts in week 2. And now against the Titans, this was definitely a revenge game for him, and he had the best game of his NFL career by far. He threw for 200.
Yeah. And everybody's going to keep saying, this ain't a revenge game for Malik. Yes, it was. Yes, absolutely. This was a revenge game. You don't come out here and say it in a and give the other team bulletin board material or the media people highlights and things. Malik says this is a revenge game. He's going to make sure he's going to come out here and beat Tennessee and make them regret forever trading him. He's not going to say that. Now, is he feeling that way? I bet. I'm not going to say absolutely, but I almost guarantee there's a spot down in there. It's like, they drafted me. I thought I was going to be the guy to take over after Tannehill. They drafted another guy. Then they bring in another QB. So you draft Will Levis, then you bring in Mason Rudolph to replace me. Then you trade me over to Green Bay, then I get to play. It's absolutely a revenge game. Absolutely. You just don't feed into the bulletin board material and let the other team have ammo.
100 yards, had a touchdown, and he rushed for 70 yards and a touchdown. The game was tied 7-7 in the first quarter, and then the Packers dropped 20 straight points and eventually did win 30-14. It was a bad look for the Titans, and there is just no way around that. They needed to get right, and they couldn't, and it came at the hands of Malik Willis, who 100% looked like the better quarterback compared to Will Levis, who the Titans essentially replaced him with. The game against the Packers really did look like every other Titans game this season, where the Titans,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem, because you trade Malik away. Malik was the third QB on the roster. You trade him away, then you go play him, and he does look better than Will. And y'all can keep making all these excuses. Well, Will's first time here. He's technically still a rookie. He hasn't even played really that much or started much. This is Brian Callahan's first year. He's learning them. All those same excuses work for Malik. How many stars does Malik have? How many years has he been in the NFL? How long was he at Green Bay for before he started this game? 28 days? All those same excuses that y'all give Will Levis for, well, Malik just looked better because this. All the same things. What you say for Malik can be said about Will Levis. What you say about Will Levis can be said about Malik. So I don't get why we keep making these excuses that, like, well, Malik's just been in the league longer. Malik ain't had starts. He ain't played. We brought in Josh Dobbs to start over this guy when Ryan Tannehill went down. That guy outperformed the guy that's supposed to be the future of the franchise. I get there's a learning curve, but the third string QB on your roster that you let go should not outperform your starting face of the franchise supposed to be guy after being on a new team for 28 days, and this guy has been here all offseason, and you're making excuses why he can't click with the offense and make plays after having a whole offseason with these players, after going to Cabo with these players. But Malik Willis has been there 28 days, and it's okay. It don't make no sense.
Just could not move the ball on offense. You can tell that it is just not a good offensive unit, and even despite trying to bring in some better players, some better weapons, it still is just completely stagnant. And I thought maybe, yes, that could improve with Brian Callahan, but we're not seeing a lot from Will Levis. I think he's been a really big issue so far this season, and he's really not even in that good of a spot to succeed. The offensive line has been really, really bad. When you watch Will Levis, he's getting hit with 3-man rushes coming from the opposing team, and he's still getting hit really fast. They just cannot block up front. It's making things really hard for Will Levis, and he continues to make these really, really dumb decisions. Meanwhile, Malik Willis has looked.
Now, I will say this, though. With the O-line, we expected a learning curve because, I mean, it's almost an entirely new line. All right, J.C. Latham is moving to left tackle, getting back into that after not, playing it a couple years in college. Peter Skoronski is coming out here trying to, bounce back after the appendicitis or whatever last year. His appendix getting removed last year. He lost a lot of weight during that time, trying to back up to that weight. So he's trying to get back. Lloyd Cushenberry's new here, trying to figure out Radence, however you say his damn name. I always gonna fuck it up, and y'all can fuck with me all y'all want, talk shit to me all y'all want as Titans fans. You can't pronounce his name. There's some of these dudes' names I just ain't never gonna get right, no matter what it is. And Radence or Redunce is one of them. I'm just gonna always fuck that one up. All right, but Radence is there, and then you got MPF over there. We're trying to salvage, and everybody's like, "Well, we start the year with MPF." Don't forget We had Shadiq Charles, and we got him in the free agency, and the dude retired on us out of nowhere. MPF was supposed to be there. Shadiq Charles supposed to go in the guard spot, and then we was gonna sit here and maybe look at Radunz, Brunskill, and MPF, and maybe Duncan. Now, and we're not looking at Duncan now, but at that time was looking at that at the tackle position. But this is still a new offensive line. They got to get to know each other, get chemistry, know how everybody's blocking. Also, you got to get known to the offensive, the O line coach too, with Bill Callahan. Got to learn what he's wanting, his techniques, his verbiage, how he does everything, how he wants you to set up. So that's a learning curve. We expected some learning things to happen with a left side of the line that is new, and then a whole entire offensive line that we're trying to revamp under a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new offensive line coach. So there was going to be some learning curve, and we expected that. It has to get better, though. It has to get better, and Will has to get the ball out quicker. You both got to know, hey, as an O-line, there's a QB back us that's not feeling too safe. He's seeing ghosts. Let's try to block to the best of our ability to give him some extra time and some confidence. As a QB back there, you got to know, hey, O-line ain't blocking too well. I need to make my reads pretty quick, and I need to get the ball out pretty quick. And then as a coach, you got to know, O-line's not blocking too well. QB ain't got confidence. Let's run some short, quick route concepts for this guy so we can get the ball out real quick, get him some confidence, make him feel safe and secure in that pocket. And it doesn't feel like we're getting any of that. It doesn't feel like the O-line's helping the QB. The QB's not helping the O-line. It don't feel like the play calling is helping neither. And I know it's all new. It's all a learning curve. I'm not saying, jump ship. It's all worse. Fire Brian Cal. I'm not saying all that. Not at all. It's a learning curve. It's going to take time. But the Will Levis shit is just, it's aggravating.
It's pretty good. You wonder if the Titans maybe gave up on him a little too soon. He's a great running quarterback. I think he's really versatile, and he played really, really well. And he's been great to replace Jordan Love so far. Even when that trade happened, I did not think Malik Willis was going to be a guy who was going to eventually start games or be any good. But here we are. He's now 2-0 as a starter. He looks pretty good. And he just beat the team that essentially gave up on him after drafting him in the first place. Which I will say Willis has handled in the best possible way. When he was asked about it being a revenge game and asked, what are your thoughts on playing the Titans, the team that did draft you and traded you, he basically was like, hey, they're the team that gave me a shot in this league, which I actually love. He's such a likable guy, and it's great to see him. He's not the long-term option. They're just waiting for Jordan Love to get back, but it's cool to see. And honestly, he's not the long-term option, but Will Levis, I don't think is either. I was really hoping that Will Levis would come out this year and put together a good season and just prove that he could maybe be the guy in Tennessee. But man, that has just not been the case at all. And what's rough is he has looked good at times, but he just continues to make boneheaded mistakes. We have 3 weeks of now 3 just insane photos of him during some insane.
Make it 4 now. 4 consecutive weeks. This motherfucker has been a meme machine taking over the internet. 4. Mind you, every week he's also got a turnover. It's just like when people get excuses like, he has to learn, you have to help. I get that. But this is atrocious. You can't be the detriment to the team. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how much upside and potential you have. It doesn't matter. You got to go out there and perform, and turning the ball over, not protecting yourself, and putting the team in situations and games to lose the game is not anything you ever want from your QB. I don't care. And everybody's talking about, he's only his second year. He's 25 years old. He is the oldest QB in the AFC South. CJ Stroud is younger than this man. Trevor Lawrence is younger than this man. And Anthony Richardson is younger than this man. John keeps saying, he's young, he's young. He's the oldest QB in the AFC South. Yes, he don't have much of a playing time and experience in the NFL. But mentally, you're supposed to be more mature than these guys. So you should be knowing, I shouldn't be putting the team in bad situations. I shouldn't be putting a team where we need to lose. You're supposed to be more up here. You're supposed to be more mentally there, mature. Now, all the game stuff might not all be there and for you to understand, but you're literally the oldest QB in the AFC South. You got drafted in the second round. We don't have a fifth-year option. We don't have time to waste with you. You're 25 on year 2. That means by the time your rookie contract's up, you're 28. We're going to be paying almost 30-year-old QB this, $50-60 million a year on his second contract, and he's already almost in his 30s. We don't have this time for he needs to develop. We don't have it. He's 25. We can't. He's not a 21, 22-year-old guy that just came out of college. He's not. We got to sit here and stop thinking like he's these younger guys just because he's 2 years in the NFL. Oldest QB in the AFC South.
Insane decision, bad gaff. Week 1 was the photo of him literally on his knees in shambles after a turnover. And then week 2, it's him airborne before making one of the worst decisions you'll ever see of him basically just tossing the football up. And now we have a new one of him basically with a guy on top of him and the ball right behind him in the backfield. It has been just an insane run for Levis, and it really makes you question his future with the Titans. Brian Callahan has made it clear he is still the quarterback going forward, but it's been bad. You know, Levis has already turned the ball over 8 times in 3 games. That is the most in the league, and that's obviously played a very big role in the Titans being 0-3. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of other issues too.
I hate seeing that play so much because it aggravates. It's like, why? There's nothing in the point. I'm falling down. I'm jumping forward. I'm diving. Let me bowling roll this football backwards to the running back with a guy on him. What? Just take a fucking sack from time to time. Stop making a bad play worse. Stop. It's already a bad play. Let it be a fucking bad play. Don't let it be a disaster. I'm tired of seeing that fucking play. It aggravates me, gets my anger going every time because it makes no fucking sense to me. It would make no sense to do that in a high school game, let alone a fucking pro game.
The offensive line in front of him hasn't been good, and that's something I really do think is eventually going to get fixed. I am just a full believer in Bill Callahan. He's the offensive line coach, and Brian Callahan is his son. Yo, he's just a great coach. He's been an interim. He's been an NFL head coach. I think he's going to be able to fix the line, and the Titans have definitely made the line a priority. They've taken back-to-back offensive linemen in the first round. They just took J.C. Latham, who's playing at left tackle. Next to him is left guard Peter Skoronski, who was a 2023 first rounder. The Titans also brought in Lloyd Cushenberry.
And I'm gonna say this too, while they're naming all this stuff. Everybody's like, "Oh, let's just leave Will Levis in this year, and we'll tank and we'll do bad. We'll go get us a new QB." Okay, that's y'all's fan base process. What happens? We tank. O-line's not good. Will Levis ain't good. The franchise and the front office still believes in Will Levis. You know, like the Mariota days. You remember the Mariota days where, you know, hey, no matter what he does, we still think he's the guy. It's just the coaching and the talent around him. And then we figured out it was just a fucking guy. That's what it feels like now. So what happens if we tank this year and all the fans are like, we're going to tank and go get a QB, but we tank and then we draft another offensive lineman in the first fucking round again. Then what? Then we're back to Will Levis again next year playing. It's like, I get y'all. Y'all want to like, tank, let's go get Cam Ward and Shador. That's y'all. But how do y'all know that's what the front office wants to do? How do you not know that this year is going to go out and play out? O-line doesn't get better. Right tackle is still a position that we need to fix regardless how the season looks. Regardless, MPF is not the guy. We're going to need a right tackle by this next season coming up. So, yeah, y'all want to tank and go get a QB in the draft. But who says that's what they're going to do? They clearly believe and think Will Levis is the guy right now. Brian Callahan doesn't even hesitate when they ask him after Will Levis does bad stuff. Is Will Levis still QB? Yeah, absolutely. Still QB. Still going to be QB. Doesn't even hesitate. That shouldn't tell you like, yeah, they're definitely drafting a guy this year. I don't know. Maybe it'll change. But right now, I don't have faith that the Titans would go out this year and go draft another QB and draft 3 QBs in 5 years. 3 QBs in 5 years. Now, do we need a new QB? I think so. Will Levis could turn us around in the future, but it's not looking like it. And no matter what, he can go win the next 5 games. The thought behind every Titans fan, is going to be, okay, but when does the bonehead shit show up again? When does he start turning the ball over? When does that show up again? Because you've done it so consecutively in this beginning of the season that it's almost embedded into our brains that Yeah, he can have some good plays. Yeah, he has some high moments, but man, he has some low moments too. And that's what's scary. It's because last year when Will Levis used to throw the ball deep, I got excited. This year when Will Levis throws the ball deep, I get anxiety. And I'm like, somebody about to pick this ball off. I don't like this at all. You're starting to push a narrative that is slowly taking the fans away from you. And even if you're going to do good in the future, it's going to take so much good in the future to outweigh this dumb shit you've done in the beginning to make Titans fans forget this shit.
At center, you have to at least give him credit for trying to fix the line, but it might take some time. It's a little tougher when you don't even have Derrick Henry, who was the one guy who was able to run through a bad line and still somehow churn out productive performances. Now it's Tony Pollard running the show in the backfield, who I have high hopes for. My buddy Jake is a big Titans fan, and we've been...
And I'm not one of those fans like, we shouldn't let him go. He didn't want to be here. I know he didn't want to be here. I know it. I miss him. I don't miss him because this franchise should signed him. They should have, but he wasn't going to sign here. He wasn't, and they're not going to go over the top to throw money at him to keep him here, which was what would have going to take. We would have had to offer him a way ridiculous amount of money for him to not to go to the Ravens. He wanted to go to the Ravens. So I'm not one of those that's like, well, the franchise should have kept him. We should have kept him, but I don't think we could have kept him. I don't think there's nothing the front office could have done. Derrick Henry wanted to leave, wanted to go play for a Super Bowl contender, and he went to the Ravens. That's where he wanted. And then last year, the Ravens tried to trade for him. He was ready for it. Miss Amy shut that shit down. He went to the Ravens anyway. That's where he wanted to be. He didn't want to be a Titan.
Been talking all offseason about how Tony Pollard could be a good running back. I liked Tyjae Spears a lot last year. They said it was going...
And I don't mean like he didn't want to be a Titan like a bad thing. It's just at this point in his career, he's getting to the end. He wants to go get a Super Bowl, rightfully so. Go chase you a Super Bowl. I'm not upset or mad at Henry situation. Go chase you a Super Bowl. You deserve it. I hope you go get it. I don't hope it's with the Ravens. Maybe you go to another team because I don't like the Ravens. But I have no animosity towards Derrick Henry for leaving. You're a grown man in a career where you want to have some milestones and some accomplishments to get that gold jacket at the end of the year. Go get it, bro.
Going to be a bit of a split between Pollard and Spears. It's definitely been a lot more Pollard. And then just like the run game, the passing game just isn't great either, despite them really trying to give Will Levis weapons. They did try. DeAndre Hopkins is still there, but now you've added Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, who's already a very good, proven number 3 receiver, and Levis really just doesn't even have enough time to throw the ball to them. The Titans season just isn't going to plan, but they have at least been very competitive. The first 2 games of the year were both one-score games with a 24-17 final, and really they should have won in week 1 against the Bears and Caleb Williams. 100% they should have won that game. The defense looked great for Tennessee. They completely shut down Caleb, but it didn't matter. The Titans lost the game with just silly mistakes. An awful Will Levis turnover loses them the game. They had to turn around and try to figure things out against the Jets, and they couldn't. It was actually tied going into the 4th quarter, but the Jets scored late and won. It was 2 close losses, 2 games they both could have won. 1 game they definitely should have won, in my opinion, and it felt like they could have won either one. And they just came up short, which is just demoralizing. Then they try to get in the win column against the Packers, and obviously they couldn't. Now, luckily, I do think there is a chance the Titans don't lose another game until week 6. It helps having a bye in between, but the Titans can definitely beat the Dolphins.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's like they definitely, it looks like they could definitely not lose a game until week 6. Mind you, that's only 2 games. Yeah, I think they can definitely beat Miami and they can definitely beat the Colts, which we did go out here and beat Miami, but that's not a bragging point right now. That's really not. Man, Miami's atrocious too. If we would have lost to Miami, this fan base definitely would have panicked. The way that Miami's been playing this year, the way Miami played that game, the way everything that they got, they are absolutely in an atrocious place like we are right now. Not as bad as we are. We're not as bad as them. But we're all in that fucking space. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And we got to get this shit fixed quick. We're all in that little situation. We did beat Miami, but it wasn't due to Will Levis. He got hurt and he was out. Mason Rudolph came out, survived, did what he needed to do for us to win. And a lot of people want to hate on that. So he didn't do this and he didn't do that. That shows you what little Will Levis has to do for this team to win. Mason Rudolph, 80 yards, 88 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. We won the game and put up 31 points. That's all we need from Will Levis. Protect the ball. You ain't got to go out here and Patrick Mahomes or even Kirk Cousins with 500, 400 yards. You ain't got to do that shit. Win the game. Whether it's win the game with 80 passing yards or win the game with 365 passing yards, it don't matter. Win the fucking game. That's all that matters. We'll discuss your stat lines and all that shit afterwards. Win the fucking game. That's what we need. Don't need all this hero ball. Don't need you going out here trying to make something out of nothing when all we got to do a lot of times is just manage the game. 80-something yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, won the game, put up 31 points. You don't have to come out here and be Patrick Mahomes in this style for the Tennessee Titans. You don't. It would be nice. It would be fucking lovely to see that for us. But we don't need that. Mason just showed you can survive and win games with this team as long as you don't put the team in danger. That's it.
Dolphins, I think, who don't have Tua Tagovailoa right now. Then there's the Colts right after the bye, and Anthony Richardson has been horrendous in back-to-back weeks now. He is just hard to...
I mean, look, they are both horrendous. Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. Will Levis got the most turnovers in the NFL. Anthony Richardson got the most interceptions in the NFL right now. It's... Fuck.
To watch these last few weeks. But even with wins there, I don't expect it to lead to any kind of postseason push, but the Titans have a chance to bounce back and at least look a lot better. This season for the Titans, I don't think is about making the playoffs. I don't think it was about making the playoffs before it started, even though a lot of fans, I think, did have that hope.
It was definitely about making the playoffs, bro. Definitely. Not even just the fans, the franchise, the front office, the GM, the coach saying that shit. We're trying to make a run. We're trying to go out here and make a playoff run. Tyler Boyd in the locker room said this is a Super Bowl team on paper. We have to perform for that. Bro, it absolutely was. They kept telling us this ain't a rebuild, it's a retool. This isn't a rebuild, it's a retool. We're just getting better talent in, getting some stuff in. We're going to be competitive. We're going to be a competitive rebuild. Where the fuck did that go? Because everything y'all's been selling us so far this offseason ain't came to truth. So, what do you mean it wasn't playoff hopes? Yes, the fuck it was. That's what they sold and told us all offseason. They sold and told us all offseason we're trying to make a playoff run, competitive rebuild. We're not really rebuilding. It's a retool. We believe in Will Levis. Levis can take us here. We just need to get the weapons around him to build this, do that. You did it. Now what? You can't say this wasn't supposed to be a playoff team when it was supposed to be a fucking playoff team in an AFC South division that's ass and mediocre. That, like, even though we're 1-3, we still have a chance in the division. Yes, it was a playoff chance. It was. Abso-fucking-lutely it was.
I just don't think this is a team that's anywhere close to even being a playoff team. I think they're on the first step to getting there, which I think was getting a new head coach. I really, really like Brian Callahan. He's a guy that I 100% am rooting for to really succeed with the Titans. I really like Bill Callahan. You know, he was the interim in Washington, so I obviously had a big liking for him. He was great on the Browns, and I still think it's so cool that the Browns actually decided to let him get out of his contract and go to the Titans to coach with his son, which is so cool. One of the very few cool things and good moral decisions the Browns have made in years. I also do like Will Levis a lot. You know, I watched him a lot at Kentucky. I thought he was super, super fun to watch. I thought he should have gone way earlier in that draft. I think if he would have been drafted in that Kenny Pickett draft, he would have been by far the best quarterback in that draft if he was in that Malik Willis draft. I still think he has a lot of talent. He just needs to stop with some of these terrible decisions. I think you still have to ride him for the rest of this season. I think it'd be a mistake to go to a backup, to go to Mason.
Hold on. Bro, did you watch his Kentucky film? What made you think that? Like, I was trying to figure out all the hype with them talking about he's going to be a first-round pick when we got him. Now, I can't remember all the QBs that was in that Malik Willis draft, but I still don't think he would have been the top QB in that draft. He would have been one of the top QBs in that draft. But shit, he was one of the top QBs in his draft. It just didn't work. It's not working. He's very raw and still has a lot to be developed. Like Will Levis is a huge work in progress. A huge work in progress. He ran the ball at Penn State. That's all he did. He didn't throw. High school did the same thing. It wasn't until his 2 years in Kentucky he finally became a passer. He hasn't been a passer for many years. He is a big, huge project QB that is very raw and rough and can be that slab of marble, but you need a coach that's going to be able to develop this guy and be able to chisel him into the masterpiece that everybody says he can be. But right now, it looks like the artist is chiseling away at this marble and it's all just starting to fucking crumble with every damn chisel. It's not turning into this fucking beautiful piece of art that everybody said its potential was. It's turning into a whole fucking rumble of fucking racks and just breaking away with every fucking hit. I don't. Will Levis can be good. We'll see. It's just going to take a lot of fucking time. And once again, like I said, when we draft him, I don't like that. He's older. He's 25. By the time he's probably going to live up to what you want him to be, he's going to be fucking 30. Like, you got to teach this guy in the NFL how to be a pro passing style QB. You got to teach this guy pocket presence, how to throw. You got to teach him everything about being a passer in the NFL. Because all he's had is 2 years at Kentucky teaching him in his football career. Like, we wanted to have hope. He talked with so much charisma and confidence, and we was like, all right, cool. But don't forget that when it came draft time, then can't even speak. Don't forget that during draft time, when Will Levis was taking interviews with a lot of other teams, a lot of those other teams said he didn't come off as confident. He came off as egotistical. And he had a big ego. And that's what it seems like right now. I don't know if Will Levis is confident or he has an ego. And that's what I'm still stuck in between the difference of, because confidence comes with a level of confidence comes with a level of execution and results. When you don't have execution and results and you just believe that you can do something, that's egotistical. You watch somebody lift 1,000 pounds of weight and you're like, yeah, I can do that too. You watch somebody go up there and lift a car. Yeah, I can do that too. No, and you ain't never did. That's egotistical stuff. And that's what Will Levis feels like. I can come out here and be the best QB, metric home style, this and that. I can do all this stuff. But you don't come out here and do it. So is it confidence? Or are you egotistical like a lot of fucking cute teams said you was during the draft prospect? Because it seems like a lot of people forget that. A lot of, like, the Colts were sold on Will Levis. And then that ego came into play. So which one is it? I don't know. I'm still trying to develop, but this is why I have such a hard time trying to break down and truly fully evaluate Will Levis, because I want to give you a fair shake, but there's times where other things come up into play, and it's like, these aren't things you want from your franchise guy. It's not. We don't want you confident to a fault. We want you confident in what your actual abilities are.
Rudolph. We already know what Mason Rudolph is at this point. There is no point in starting Mason Rudolph. Either start Will Levis and be terrible and get a really high pick and then decide to take a guy like Carson Beck or Shedeur Sanders next year, Quinn Ewers. I think that's the much better option than just putting in Mason Rudolph and trying to win a couple games. See if Will Levis can turn around. See if Will Levis can turn out to be anything and continue to build this up and continue to get Brian Callahan in there to get used to this season, get used to his first year as an NFL head coach. I'm rooting for the Titans to figure it out. I think they can under Brian Callahan. I just think they need a new quarterback. There is absolutely...
I mean, they definitely... It's definitely looking like we're probably going to need a new QB. And I hate this narrative that, like, oh, Mason ain't going to do nothing. He's going to be worse than... No, the fuck he's not. Stop it. Stop lying to y'all. Go watch the Pittsburgh film. Go watch Mason play. Go realize that Mason Rudolph is, 8-4-1 as a starter. Will Levis is 3-9 as a starter. Mason Rudolph has won his last 4 games that he's played in. He had 3 starts in Pittsburgh at the end of the last year that he went on a run and run 3 straight to take Pittsburgh to a playoff berth. Then he just won one for the Titans in Miami. 4 games. In his last 4 games he played in, 4-0. The last 5 games Will Levis start and finished, he is 0-5. Why the fuck can't Mason Rudolph do anything? Why is it, if we're going to suck, it has to be sucking at Will Levis? If Mason Rudolph sucks as bad as y'all say he does, and y'all want a top 5 fucking pick, why not put fucking Mason Rudolph in then? I don't get this narrative. Let's suck for a top 5 pick. It's September. Or it's October now, but fuck, we're week 4, about to be week 5. Why are we already talking about draft? We just finished that shit up. Mason Rudolph is a damn good, competent QB. Is he a face of the franchise, the guy you can build around everything? Probably not. I don't think so. He's definitely our backup QB. He's definitely QB number 2 moving forward because he's damn sure shows that he can come into a game, manage a game, and not lose a game for us. And that's exactly what you want from a QB2. And it's exactly what we're not getting from our QB1 right now. So are we going to just say, fuck it, and we're going to tank and lose on purpose and let Will just stay in here and be a detriment to the team in the locker room and to the fan base? And then next year when you ask fans to show up again like you did this year, we don't show up, you're going to be pissed off at us. But this is the fucking effort and the performance that you put on the field, expecting fans to come and put in their hard-earned money to come watch this pathetic fucking work on the field? It's ridiculous. It's like, you got to realize that tanking ain't just going to be, oh, well, we're going to get a QB, then everything's fine. You're going to tank. You're going to lose fans. You're going to lose players. Players are going to leave because I ain't here for this shit. I want to win. This shit fucking sucks. It sucks to lose. Y'all heard Vrabel last year. How's it feel to lose? It fucking sucks. Fucking sucks to lose. And y'all want to do it again. Maybe go get another QB and stuff. I don't agree with it. I don't get it. I don't know if Will Levis is going to be the guy if he can turn this around, but damn it, I can't show up for another Titan season to suck. I can't sit here like, Sunday's here. Let's get them off so we get a top 5 pick. Fuck no. Who the fuck can do that? As a real fan, how are you sitting here like, oh, Sunday, let me get all my stuff together. Let me get chips, my wings, all this shit. Sit down with my family on the couch to watch the Titans lose. What? Mason Rudolph can put us in a situation to win. Everybody's like, well, he can't do this, he can't do that. Y'all like to tell us what he can't, so many QBs can't do. But when Will Levis comes out here and shows you what he can't do, you're like, but he could. He has the potential. He could be. We don't want to get. What? Y'all said all this shit about Tannehill. Y'all saying all this shit about Mason. And Will Levis comes out here and performs like this. And y'all don't say none of that shit about him. Y'all start making fucking excuses for him. I don't get it. I think we would be in better situation this year putting Mason Rudolph in. Because I don't think Will Levis is going to honestly learn or get anything better from in-game reps. Some guys do, but at this point, I think all he's doing is hurting his confidence level. The more you keep him in there, the more he gets hit, the more mistakes he messes up, the more this fan base is going to lash out on him. The more social media is going to make fun of him. The more the guys in the locker room starts looking at this like, this motherfucker just can't get it together. Damn. You're not setting them up by keeping them in. Sometimes you are like, hey, there's a learning curve, you'll get it together. But then there's sometimes you leave a player in too long, and it's a detriment to their development, to their growth, to their confidence, to their potential, to everything, because you put them under fire in a bad situation. And it could be that for Will Levis because he's not ready. He could be ready in the future once you develop him a little bit, but he's not ready right now. There's too much to fucking fix with this guy. And it could be fixed. Could be, maybe. But right now, it's not looking like it. You're regressing. You're regressing in front of our eyes. You're regressing from last year, and each week you're regressing in front of us. Everybody likes that. Well, he gets better. No, he's not. No, he's not. Y'all realize a Will Levis turnover comes quicker and quicker each fucking game? Week 1, he had a good half and fucked it all off to Chicago. Week 2, he had a good first quarter against the Jets. Fucked it all up after. Week 3, he had a good drive. and then went with the turnovers and not seeing people. Fucked up again. Half quarter drive. And then in Miami game, he did it on the first fucking drive. It happens sooner every damn week. He's not getting better. He's regressing. We should see the turnovers happening less often in the game. We should see turnovers happening less. Something. Just protect the ball. I know it's not ideal. You're getting hit out here. The sack's not there. Wide receivers ain't always getting in separation. That's not an excuse to turn the fucking ball over. I just don't get it. And maybe y'all's right. We leave Levis in and we'll get a top 5 pick and then we go get a QB and it could be it. But I tell you what, if we leave Will Levis in this year and we suck and we get a top 5 pick and we don't get a QB, and then y'all come out this next year talking about, all right, well, no, we could tank and go get Archie. Y'all gonna see a pissed off of me because this is ridiculous. I didn't sign up to be a fan to root for losing. And I ain't saying I'm jumping ship and not gonna be a Titans fan. I'm gonna always be a Titans fan. I've been here since the Oilers days. I'm fucking loyal to the core. I'm gonna fucking be here. But I'll tell you what, you're gonna have a disgruntled fucking fan if we gonna keep doing this shit. Get out here, win some fucking games, put a respectable product on the field. This shit's fucking ridiculous. It's time to tighten the fuck up. Let's go, everybody.